Hello, everyone.
Hola, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. Welcome to this new Arduino EDUvision episode. This is number 4.
4, yes.
Yeah,
Good.
nice. Thanks for joining.
Yes, people are joining, I can see, from Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. Remember that we want to know where are you from. You're a teacher, parent, student. Just let us know, guys.
Yeah, and remember, this is live, so you can add your questions in the chat using the Facebook or YouTube chat. We'll see them and we try to answer as many as possible.
Exactly.
Through the chat or here live through the video.
Mm-hmm.
And today's episode is all about remote teaching and learning.
Yeah.
We're going to have a special guest, Matthew Holmes. He's a head of a tech department in secondary school from the UK. And he's going to talk us about the virtual learning and how their teachers and students have managed during these times studying remotely.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about this tool or kit like we design for homeschooling and remote teaching, which is the Arduino Student Kit. We have some episodes on the first season, and we launched this kit some months ago because we wanted to support educators, students, and parents to keep teaching and learning from home and remotely so they can learn programming and electronics. So we will have a demo and later on.
Yes, and we also have really interesting EDUspotlights.
Yes.
One about how to combine learning programming and history. As well, we have another one about multimeters.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Interesting. We learned something about that. And we all, of course, we've been listening to you guys and kind of because you can use, for example, you can use our forum or you can use the contact form on our remote learning site, or you can use this chat. And you've said that we had many requests from you asking how to start learning with Arduino and kind of what are the basics, where should you start from, and how to do it now when you're doing it remotely. And this is why we want to dedicate this episode for the student kit and for remote learning.
Yeah, exactly. It's still like relevant to keep talking about this. So blending learning, virtual learning. So yes.
Definitely. And I can see a lot of people joining. There's saying hi to me. Hi. There's Gordon from Scotland.
Yes.
Yes. Nice to see you
Bob,
all there.
no worries. You're here. It doesn't matter if you're late.
No, you can still follow. And as usual, we have the product owner of the student kit today here. He's going to help us to answer your questions. Let's bring Claudio. Hey.
Hola, Claudio.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Good. So Claudio is going to answer all of your questions using the chat. So if you have any questions related to the student kit, you can write them in the Facebook or YouTube chat. Claudio will answer.
Exactly.
I hope I will be able to answer.
Yeah.
You will.
Yes.
Thank you, Claudio.
Cool.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. And we can actually start with Claudio's video about the student kit. Yeah.
Let's watch it.
Hello everyone, I am Claudio Scafesi and I'm the product owner of the Arduino Student Kit. It was specifically designed for home learning and self-learning. It can be used by students themselves alone at home or by parents together with their sons or daughters, and also by teachers to remote teach the basics of electronics and programming. So the kit comes together with an online platform that we can have a look together now. So as I was saying, this is the online platform of the student kit, in which you have 9 different lectures plus 2 open-ended projects. I wanted to show to you this musical keyboard project that is actually accessible even if you do not have the product. So you can have a look and see how our lectures are structured. So by looking at this lecture, you will see the learning objectives, some references to the vocabularies, and then you go straight to the hands-on part. By clicking on the eye, if you're a teacher, you'll have some teacher notes. So without going into much details, At the end of this lecture, you will be able to have your own keyboard by tinkering a bit with an Arduino Uno board and a breadboard. So this was a really quick introduction to the product. So if you have any questions or curiosity, do not hesitate to write everything in the chat.
Thank you, Claudio.
Exactly. So,
And Claudio, he mentioned, or he showed a quick intro to the keyboard project, and we're going to have later in this episode, we're going to have a live demo with the keyboard.
yeah.
Rox is going to show her musical talents.
Oh, yes. You don't want to miss that.
Yes, definitely not. And you all get to also visit the content if you want to see the learning platform yourself.
Exactly.
Yes, we're going to show that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of you who are interested in the student kit, we have a special discount.
Yes. Tan, tan, tan. So you need to type keyboard and you will
Yes.
get 10% discount on the student kit, right?
Yes, and this code is valid for 24 hours in our
Yes.
store.
Exactly. So yeah, it's nice. If you want to get started with Arduino learning, programming, and coding, this is a really nice tool to do that. So try it out.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
We can take our first EDUspotlight.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. So this time we have Gaia, right? So
Yes.
let's take a look. Chun, chun, chun. No, yes, it's
Or
coming,
not.
it's coming. Or maybe later.
No, Gaia is going to tell us about collaboration.
History and coding share many concepts together, especially skills that we need to teach at a young age. Using pseudocode is the perfect method to introduce space and time mapping. Pseudocode helps us to think about the action we need to take inside a process and put our thoughts in a logical order. Every time we use an if statement, for example, we challenge our student to connect a certain behavior to a specific cause. Linking events and cause and effect are concepts that history and coding share together. A flowchart uses symbols to represent steps inside a process. It helps us to deconstruct an event in smaller action and think about it in theoretical terms. To understand the importance of a socioeconomic event, oftentimes our textbook presents graphs and charts. Data log and its representation are key concepts in coding. Learning how to make our own graphs can help overcome the difficulties in grasping abstract and visual representation.
Thanks,
Thank
Gaia.
you, Gaia. And if you want to learn more about this, you can visit our remote learning site. So arduino.cc/remote learning.
Mm-hmm.
There's an article from Gaia. Let me show here in the guides and articles section. We have how middle school STEAM teachers can collaborate with teachers other subjects.
Yeah, it's also on the chat if you want to take a look.
Yes, and this tells you how to use the Arduino Student Kit in a cross-disciplinary way, especially with history.
Exactly. It not necessarily be for like a robotics class or programming. So it's really interesting to know how can you link that with different subjects. So take a look.
Yes. And
Nice.
also we have the Arduino Student Kit is also compatible with Chromebooks. And
yes,
to learn more about, there's a guide.
Another article.
Yes, Arduino
guide.
and Chromebooks, a guide for teachers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
And
we heard. Sorry, we heard about many teachers that using Chromebooks in the classroom. So there's we have this question a lot. So Teres wrote this guide that Melissa is showing you.
yes, so it's about the Chrome app that we have for Arduino and how to manage it for your classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And as you can see, there's also an article, an interview with teacher Matthew Holmes about virtual learning during the pandemic.
Yes.
And I think it's time for our
guest. Let's bring Matthew.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello, Matthew.
Hiya.
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. And
thanks. You? We're great. Thank you for joining today and for the article. It was really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Yes. You have been a design and technology teacher for 15 years, and most recently, you're the director of learning for tech subjects at the state-funded Milai School for Girls.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's correct.
Can you tell us a bit about your background and your current role?
Before coming into teaching, I've worked in manufacturing industry in a variety of different product types. And I worked for a while at Warwick University as well, delivering teaching on master's degree programs. But I came to teaching, as you say, 15 years ago, and I've always been a teacher of design and technology. And at the moment, I'm very happy to be leading a department where we teach a really wide range of subjects, from food preparation, 3D product design, graphic products, engineering, and computer science, and textiles as well. There's quite an exciting area of education to be involved in.
Definitely.
And particularly over the last few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand that you wanted to ask me some questions about how we responded to the whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, how like it's been in your case, like you're teaching like remote learning, blended learning, how it has been in your case. How is your experience with that?
Well, I mean, it's been, I'd like to say it's all been fun, but it's also been quite challenging at times.
Yeah.
Really, the interesting thing was, I thought, how quickly we as a department managed to respond. So in the first instance, you know, we weren't really equipped, we weren't ready to suddenly all be working at home, but actually we were reasonably well equipped, because you know, the school already has a good virtual learning environment, which technologies department were making full use of, and we also had some experience of using some external tools like Microsoft Teams and things like that. So we were actually able to, when we did hear that we were all going to be at home from the following week, the following week, we were actually able to get quite a few of our students trained up in the tools that we wanted them to use before they disappeared. Having said that, the next couple of weeks, actually, we had to focus mostly on staff training, because we realised that although we had some people who knew a lot and were confident to start using online tools, that wasn't the case for everybody. So we met virtually online pretty regularly over the first couple of weeks, sharing what we knew, had found out, and so on, and developing our approach. And that was actually, you know, that was quite an exciting time, because we were all trying out new things, and you know, we're particularly faced with the challenge of taking a practical subject out of the workshop type classroom and into students' houses. So we had to work, we did quite a lot of work on developing projects that could be done with materials and resources that people were likely to have at home. You know, we identified some online tools and things that we could direct students at, and so on, so that we could keep the practical and engaging elements of our subjects going, even online. The next thing. Go on. I was just going to. Right, your turn.
Okay. No, I was just, you mentioned some of the tools, or you mentioned tools. What are some of the tools that you're using, and do you use them to also to assess students? Do you have something special?
Yeah, so primarily we use Microsoft Teams, and the reason why we settled on that is because it not only gives us you know, space for us to present work to students, and for students to submit work to us and receive feedback and so on, but then that's also married perfectly with the online meetings aspect of it. so that we can conduct online lessons with students, refer them to content in the same within the same app. We also found that as part of we're using it even now. We're back in school. We're continuing to use it, partly because we're aware that we need to be in readiness for the fact that we might all be home again at some point. Yeah. But also right now we've got students who are unable to come into school because members of the family have got symptoms of COVID or whatever reason. And with Teams, we're able to run our lessons as effectively run the online lesson from the lesson that's taking place in school, so that students can still take part remotely. And we're starting to experiment with that, involving students in group work who aren't actually in the room and things, which is quite interesting too.
Yeah. How is it going with that one?
Well, very well. So at the moment, I've got a student in an engineering class who, for non-COVID related reasons, is in a hospital, but she's been joining the lessons so far this term. And when the students do group work, we set up a laptop on the table that they're working on, and she's able to engage in the group work and share ideas and so on with her classmates that way. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. That
sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good to have the possibility to keep joining classes remotely. So that's really nice. And then now that you have been working with remote learning, what are your favorite tips or top 5 tips for remote learning that you can share with teachers or even parents?
From a teacher's point of view, I think one of the hardest things to manage has been student engagement. So obviously it's a lot easier for them not to be there in the first place. And then even if they are there as a face in the bottom of the screen, or worse, a little button with their initials on or whatever, they're not necessarily really engaging in the lesson. The students were very reluctant generally to turn cameras on or even speak very much online. They prefer to do most of it by text. And we found that you really, to get them to engage with question and answer sessions and so on, or giving possible responses to questions that you set, you have to really prime them in advance. So you have to let them know that at some point you're going to ask them a question. Yeah, then give them some information, then remind them that there's a question coming up, and maybe suggest some of the questions that they might want to ask, and then give them an opportunity to ask their questions and count to 20 slowly before you respond, because it takes a lot longer than it does in the classroom, and you haven't got the little eye cues and the little facial physical clues that we pick up from people in the classroom to know who's about to answer or whatever. So you have to, I think you have to plan those question and answer sessions much more thoroughly, and give the students good warning that they're coming, in order to keep them engaged in the process, and stop them treating it like they're just watching telly or some pre-recorded thing on YouTube.
That's really interesting. Yeah, sorry, that is really interesting, because when you talk about online, they might, especially students, think that this is like a show that I'm going to watch, sit, and not participating. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. And also to teachers will put a lot of effort into presenting lessons in all sorts of different ways. They'll bring video in, they'll have audio files, they'll use a PowerPoint, they'll draw things on a whiteboard. They'll give students time to work on a task, maybe 20 minutes, in a classroom. And then when you get online, you have this feeling that you've got to deliver a script, and then get off again. But actually, of course, you can employ all the same tools. So you can, using screen share and so on, you can draw in videos from other sources or videos that you've pre-recorded earlier. You can use whiteboard tools to do that. And of course, don't be afraid to actually send the student, say, I'm not going to be here for the next 20 minutes because you've got to go and do some work, and then come back and report on what you've done or what you found out from that. So yeah, yes, just because you're online doesn't mean it only has to be a talking head.
Yep, true. It's the same as kind of idea that we can sometimes have a web camera on at work, just that you have someone there kind of, even though you're not talking all the time, you might be doing your own tasks, but you still have someone there kind of, so if you have something you can say it out loud, but you can also just focus on your own work.
Yeah.
It works. Kind of having the classroom environment, even if you're at home, you have the people around you.
Well, yes, yeah. And then I don't know what I could say to parents apart from, obviously, they're managing a totally different situation there at home. And, that was, again, one of the issues that came up, of course, is that there's a general assumption that everybody has the technology at home to access this sort of stuff. And of course, that isn't necessarily the case, particularly if you've also got a brother and a sister and a mum and dad who are trying to access education or work from home, with the one laptop shared in the household or whatever, So we did at the school, actually, in the first instance, the school sent out around about 50 or 60 laptops just in the first week to try and ensure that people had the physical equipment at home necessary to access things. So, we do understand the issues that parents and kids at home face, squabbling for space and space and technical resources.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's,
Thank you for all your insights today.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And all of you watching the show, you can find more Matthew's tips from our remote learning site. So you can find the article or interview.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye. Thanks to Matthew. So also, as you know, we were talking about the student kit. So this kit is very flexible. And when we design it, we have in mind middle school students. But lately, we have found that also university students have been using it. So it doesn't matter what your age. If you're interested in learning programming, coding, electronics in a really hands-on, fun way, you can use the student kit. And also, the kit is available in English, Spanish, Italian, and German. So
yes. And the kit it has the physical kit. That includes an Uno board, breadboard, commonly used electronic components, and also a special tool called Multimeter. And for all of you who don't know what is a multimeter, we can watch our second EDUspotlight for today and learn about multimeters.
Let's watch it.
Arduino Student Kit comes with a very useful tool when it comes to working with electronics, a multimeter. A multimeter is the device that takes electricity-related measurements. Most multimeters can measure voltage, resistance, current, and continuity. Let's focus on the voltage quadrant. The settings shown are for measuring voltage with direct current, DC. Voltage is indicated by the capital V. Direct current is indicated by the symbol that has a straight line over 3 dashes. Your multimeter has 5 different DC voltage ranges, from 200 millivolts to 600 volts. These numbers represent the maximum voltage that can be measured in each setting. For example, we want to measure the actual voltage of a 9-volt battery. You can use 200 millivolts or 2-volt settings, because the 9-volt battery has a voltage that is higher than the range of those settings. A 1 will appear on the multimeter, indicating the voltage is out of range. However, you could use 20, 200 and 600 volt settings because the 9 volts is less than the maximum range. The higher the measurement range, the less precision there will be in the reading. Of those 3 ranges, the 20 volt setting will provide the most accurate measurement.
Thank you, Gaia.
Cool. Nice. So multimeter included in the student kit. And what if you think if we show a little bit of the demo we have for today?
Yes, I can
Let's
just
do
have
that.
a quickly.
Yes.
So you can find this preview site. So on this site, you can find a preview for all of our educational kits. And today we're going to look at the student kit. So if you want
Yes.
to access the site, you can find the link from our chat. It's on the Facebook and YouTube chat, so you can find it, and you can also take a look at it together with us or on your own when you have time for it.
Yes.
And you can
take a
see
look.
it. But Rox, you have the actual project there.
I do.
Yes.
So this is the keyboard. This is lesson number 8. So basically, what we do with this project is use the piezo to produce sound, and also we program the Arduino board to control the pitch and timing of different sounds to create music. So this circuit will let me play different notes when I push these buttons, and the electronic keyboard can play the full octave of notes. So each note, well, each button will play a note, and we only have 5 buttons, right, as you can see here. But to play the 8 notes with only 5 buttons, we use button combinations. So this last button here, if you see, this one, it's the toggle button. So when this button is held down, and it switches the keyboard between lower notes and high notes in the octave. So each key button then will be assigned to 2 notes, one low and one high. So let me show you. So this is the first 4 notes. I hope you listen to this. Right, so here, if you can see, I have, I hope you can see, I have the different notes. For example, some countries use the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, and then others use A, B, C, D, E, F. So I just put here the notes that correspond to each button, so you can play a melody. So someone asked before if you need to have any musical background or knowledge. No, of course not. I don't know music. But you just knowing the notes, you can try out and some different sounds. So I was trying to play something for you, but let's see if you can recognize it,
Yeah,
the tone.
So whoever is watching this now, try to guess what song Rox is playing.
Yeah, bear with me because I don't have any musical background. So let's see. No, wait. Oh, shit. No, it's really bad. Do you know which one it is?
It started good. It started good. Calm.
Oh my God, no, forget. It's Imperial March, Star Wars. It's really bad played, but you can try this when you actually know where the notes are and then how to press the button so you can play the 8 octane. So it's really cool. You can play the whole piece. So no, it's not Happy Birthday, but it's thank you, nope. Natalie. It's Imperial March.
She recognized it. It was not that bad, I told you.
It's really bad. But you can keep talking, Melissa, while I still try to play it. Yes, almost.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think, you can continue practicing that, and for the final episode for this season, maybe you know some other songs too.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, it's really hard with the tripod, but I try to do my best. So I promise that I will keep practicing.
Yeah.
But this is just like just a really small sample what you can achieve. So we tell you how to build this, and then it's up to you to add more buttons and make it more complex. So you can start with this, and it's like up to you how much you want to go further. So it's really cool.
Look, I think you were good.
Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Natalie.
And if you're interested in this kit, it's now available in our store. So from our store, arduino.cc/education/partners, you can also find your local distributor. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So if you want to purchase it from our store, remember to use the discount code that you have now.
Mm-hmm.
Write the word keyboard with capital letters. And then you get a discount for 24 hours from now. You have a discount from our store. Yes. Yep. And then, or then if you want to purchase it from our educational partners.
Yeah, you can also check your local partner. So
yes,
I think that was it. It was so fast.
Yes.
So you should, guys, build this, sorry, Melissa, and practice and maybe upload what you play on Instagram.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I would love to see that. So if you have the student kit and you can try out the keyboard project, and yeah, you can try to be better.
Of course, everyone will be better than me.
Yeah. No, I haven't tried.
Nice.
And next week, we will have an interesting crash course on how to spot a counterfeit board.
Yes, and we will have the quiz back. So,
yes. So it's quiz time next week.
Yay! Don't miss that one.
No, you get to test your knowledge about Arduino boards.
Thank you for today to our guest.
See you next week.
Yes. Adios.
Bye.